Hello and welcome, friends. If you wouldn't mind, on your way in, click the like, subscribe, comment down below, and if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and click that share button down there, wherever it is on the screen you're looking at. Copy the link and send it to a friend or a community that you think might enjoy this content. I just wanted to let you guys know that I'm glad you're here. I'm feeling particularly spicy today, so hopefully the game goes well. If not, that's okay too. Here in the basement, we're allowed to have bad days. What we're not allowed to do is take it out on each other, but we can have bad days. So, that being said, once again, I am glad you are here. Previously, Irina had her Irina alone day at Valaki, and our adventuring parties eventually got back together, and we had Ismark and Marina, our fighter from the other campaign world. They had kind of a little bit of a moment, I guess, where their relationship kind of started to blossom a little bit. Instead of just being focused on survival, they kind of got to know each other a little bit, and a little bit of a friendship started to bloom. Meanwhile, Gertruda, Irina, Astrid, Dendor, they all went to the St. Andrew's Church, and there they spoke to Father Lucian. And at the very end of the last session, Father Lucian revealed to them that the relics of the Saint Andrew of the Morning Lord, those relics had been stolen. So the relics that had kind of provided some of the provided like a hallowed ground to the church are gone. So maybe the church is not as well protected now as they had assumed or thought, or were led to believe. Let's see. Am I missing anything else? Go ahead and comment down below if I'm missing anything else. I can't think of anything. So, let's go ahead and imagine ourselves descending down into Barovia through the misty veil. As we come down to Valaki, we go past the wooden defenses into the city itself. We see all of the Harlequin soldiers walking about. Their enforcement of the faux happiness is in full swing. And we zoom in slowly onto the Church of St. Andrew, which we described last time. We're just going to pop this open. We got our Church of St. Andrew right here. And let's go ahead and grab our character sheets from our trusty notebook. So that we know where everybody is. So, have our friends out here. And here we are. Alright, so Father Lucian revealed to us that the bones are missing. And we'll go ahead and write down in our little notebook, episode 18. Alright. So, taking a moment to take stock of the characters, let's consider the gravity of the situation. Let's see. Everybody, so Irina, Astrid, Dendor, and Gertruda all turn to face Father Lucian as he kind of drops that bombshell on them, saying that the relics are missing. Astrid will be the first to speak up. I'm sorry to hear that, Father. Who knew where the relics were being kept? Is it common knowledge, or... Father Lucian will interrupt. No, of course not. I would not want to reveal the location of such a priceless artifact of our history. They are important to us, and some of our rites contain some of these relics. But they are always carefully placed back, and I keep their location generally secret. And then he stops to think about it. And he says, there is an altar boy. And Dendor says, oh? Who is this altar boy? And Father Lucian says, his name is Yeska. He's a good child. He's been learning all of the rites correctly, and he does his best to raise the spirits authentically with the group, with the worshippers of the Morning Lord. I do not know if I mentioned the relics or their location to anyone else. Astrid will consider things, and Irina will say, it would be in our best interest to recover these artifacts, I think. So, Astrid considers it for a moment, and she says, we must speak with Yeska, I think. If he knows about the relics, it is possible that he mentioned them to someone else. So, where is the altar boy? When is he due back? Oh, Astrid kind of delved into a Barovian accent there. So, when is the altar boy due back? Father Lucian considers it a moment, and he says, he had to take the afternoon off to speak with his mother and do some things around the house, but he should be back tonight. Perhaps around just in time for the night services at sunset. And Dendor says, I think it would be wise to return with the rest of our party. However, if the child is intimidated by adults, perhaps Gertruda could speak to him. She is about his age, Father Lucian says. Dendor nods and looks at Gertruda. Would you be willing to do that for us? Gertruda will nod. Of course. I can speak to him and see if he knows or divulges the information to anyone else. Astrid says, "It might take some time. I don't know that you would want to immediately compel the poor boy to tell you exactly where the relic is, like who he might have told, especially if the boy thinks that he's in trouble. So, let us speak to him when he arrives tonight. And if that fails, we'll have Gertruda attempt to befriend the boy and see if he will divulge the information to her." The group will thank the father for being honest with them, and I think Dendor will inquire, "Where does the boy live? And is there anyone else on the premise that is here regularly?" Father Lucian will give them directions to the boy's house. There's nothing in the module about it, so we'll just say that maybe he's, kind of on the inner side somewhere. Somewhere not too far up the road, but somewhere within the city walls and kind of in maybe like a more packed district. This village is pretty small, so, maybe one of the smaller houses. They're kind of packed into the alleyways or something in here. And Father Lucian considers the second question. Is there anyone else? "We have a young lad who tends the grounds and digs the graves. His name is Milivoj." "And you know where that Milivoj lives as well?" And Father Lucian will tell Dendor the information. And let's go ahead and record these names. So Yeska is the altar boy. Milivoj is the gravedigger. And they're all kind of on the cusp of adulthood, getting towards their late teens, getting prepared to enter their, or are already entering their vocations and starting to earn an income for their families. So they're not children per se, just young adults. All right, so our party will once again thank Father Lucian, and they will go ahead and say some last prayers before exiting the church. Now they need to go find Ismark and Marina. So the first thing they'll do, I think, they probably have like a general plan of, hey, we're going to meet up back at the Blue Water Inn once we're done doing our tasks, basically. So the party goes back to the Blue Water Inn, and it's not too long before Ismark and Marina arrive. Maybe looking just a little bit more at ease. If anybody was really paying attention, they're more comfortable around each other. Kind of have more open body language. And as the party gets together, they start having the conversations. Marina and Ismark hand over some extra clothes for Gertruda, so she's not trying to fit into this hodgepodge of these other party members' extra clothing. So, and she can be walking around in something other than slippers, basically. So they hand off the clothes to her so that she can change, and the party starts having the conversations of giving each other information. So Now the whole party knows that the church is not safe. Ismark's not going to be too happy about that because the church was going to be their fallback position, and now he knows that it's potentially at risk now. So Ismark will probably walk around the room kind of pacing as he's, cussing. He tries to keep it quiet, but he's a little bit upset at the whole situation. So he's walking around cussing. Now, there's a couple of things that have been going on with our group and the NPCs around them. So let's see. I'm going to roll to see if our group is being watched, and we're just using the Solodark yes or no oracle. We got a 2 and a 3, so they are not being watched. And at advantage, it's a no but. So nobody's purposefully watching them, but perhaps somebody at the Blue Water Inn is overhearing Ismark's cursing and draws their attention. Now, the question is, who is that going to be? I'm thinking contextually we have a couple of people. We have a couple of people, so we're going to roll a d6. On a 1, it will be one individual that I'm keeping kind of secret, and any other die roll is going to be either Danica or Erwin or somebody that works at the Blue Water Inn. So we got a 5. We got a 5. So basically, Danica and Erwin were kind of tipped off already that something bad had happened with the party, and now they're being kind of watched by Danica and Erwin. So Danica and Erwin, now that they know that something's going on with the party, and after overhearing Ismark's outburst, we'll call it, now this is the tricky part, because I know what they would do, and I'm trying to decide how much to clue in to you guys as the viewers. So I, as the DM, know some things that's going on behind the grounds, and I haven't decided yet really what I want you guys to know about as we play. Like, I was kind of lightly considering just having you guys as the listeners see it from the point of view of the party. So if you prefer that aspect, comment down below, party view. If you kind of want the DM's bird eye view, let me know. There's a lot of information there that you may or may not appreciate having early on. So I'm going to err on the side of you guys will want to hear kind of the party's point of view. So I do have some NPCs working on in the background that I am taking notes on. This is all kind of secret to you, but it gets my, it scratches my DM's itch, basically. So I'm going to kind of keep that hidden. You as the party, or, I've already revealed to you that it's Danica that knows, or, Danica and Erwin are up to something, but that's all I'm going to clue you in to as of now, unless I hear otherwise from you guys. So I'm just going to take a note as to what Danica does. All right. Sorry to break the immersion on you, but sometimes these things come up. Okay, so we're back in their room. I think the men's domicile, the men's sleeping quarters, are probably where they have their impromptu meetings at the Blue Water Inn. So we're going to say that they're in the men's sleeping quarters. And that's going to be the southern one. If you look at the map of the Blue Water Inn, there's kind of these two rooms above the entrance of the Blue Water Inn. There's a northern one and a southern one. The women's is going to be the northern one. The men's is going to be the southern one. And I think that they'll opt for that one as their impromptu meeting room. And as they're kind of going about that, Ismark, cusses and everything, and Irina will, do her best to calm her brother. She too is a little bit unnerved, but kind of revealing the strength of Irina, she goes to her brother and places a hand on his shoulder, comforts him with, just quiet words that the party can't quite overhear, and a raven flaps down and lands on the windowsill and kind of looks into the window. Gertruda will walk over to it, and she kind of plays with the raven a little bit. She'll put her finger against the window and kind of, do the move the finger around and watches the bird. Kind of keeps an eye on it and kind of pecks at it just a little bit, kind of interested in it, essentially. And our party, after sharing what they know, they consider their options and they're thinking. So, we have this church which is not a safe space for Irina any longer, Ismark will say. We have an altar boy that might be guilty, perhaps a gravedigger. And we have this need to find these relics so that we can perhaps free the land of Strahd. And he drops his voice a little bit. Now, a secondary question. We know that Strahd has certain abilities. Is Strahd listening in on this conversation? Because Strahd has access to a scry spell, basically. So, we'll see. You guys, if you zoomed in, you might be able to see that. I think I'll keep that one a little bit to myself as well. So the party considers their options, and what are they going to do? Because they have some things. Barovia is just kind of piling onto them, basically. They have all of these sort of relics, I guess, that they need to recover to help them defeat Strahd so that they can escape Ravenloft or Barovia. And now they have this issue with Irina again. I think the Irina issue is probably going to take precedence. Ismark looks at the group and he says, I have demanded much from you. I have request so much from you. But if we are to get you out of Barovia, if I am to aid you, I must ensure that my sister is safe. So, if we can, we should resolve the issue with the bones. If we cannot, we must move to Kresk. There is a monastery there that is supposed to be safe as well. Hopefully it is safer than what we are encountering here in Vallaki. I was not aware that Vallaki would be so perilous. And the party nods. Marina will. What would Marina do in this situation? What are we thinking? She's just started this friendship with Ismark. She'll essentially saying, "We understand. Your sister's very important to you. We will try to make her as safe as possible. And one of the options to make her safe is to get rid of Strahd. So let's see if we can recover the bones. If we can't, we'll get to Kresk. And once your sister's safe, we'll start working on these other things, perhaps. We still need to discover the meaning behind all of these relics, basically. We don't... we know that there's something of history, so we can understand our enemy. And all of it's in riddles, so we need to get our minds clear and work on these riddles. So let's get Irina safe, and let's do our best to keep her that way while we figure out the rest of this. And Ismark will bow slightly. More of a head nod, really. So, I think the path forward is clear. We have the Church of St. Andrel that is missing its relics. That is the most immediate issue. So, we'll go with that. Looking at the party, I think they'll take some time to rest. The raven that Gertruda's kind of toying with will fly off. And the party will take some time to rest and recuperate. And then they'll have to take some time to go back to the church eventually. Now we also have a couple of items moving there. Isaac is aware that Irina exists. And there's a couple of other people that we're considering. So, first thing I need to do is look. Let's see here. Yeah. So, what do we do now? I think, just out of interest, I want to know if anything happens between now and the time where they go to meet Yeska, basically. We're gonna say that that's probably about 5 hours of time, which is so much time, basically. And there's just a lot of things that can happen in Barovia, especially Vallaki. So let's gather a little bit more information. We're going to go ahead and I want to go to the let's see, we have the Festival of the Blazing Sun that's coming up. Now, I'm trying to decide here how much How much do we want to kind of pile on, basically? Because Curse of Strahd is quite the adventure. And there's so many things going on, in fact, that some of basically you can just collect like crazy crazy amounts of side quests, basically. And I don't think we're interested in trying to do like 100% completion on Curse of Strahd. That kind of adds to the replayability of Curse of Strahd. We just want to roll randomly to try to decide what we're doing. So, not decide what we're doing, but like how the story progresses. The most obvious thing here is we're going to wait until the evening to go talk to Yeska. We're asking, does anything happen? We're just going to ask the Oracle, basically. Does anything happen? If it comes up as a yes, then we'll investigate it further. We're just going to roll a standard die. Oh, we got a 19. So, yes, but. Let's consider a few things here. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We got 6 options here. I'm going to go ahead and roll a 1, which is Isaac. Interesting. Okay. So, what are we going to do here? All right, so as the group is going about their business, maybe they're going around the town a little bit to, just kind of see what's going on out in the town, gather rumors, that kind of thing. They notice that the guards have increased slightly, and they're traveling at 2 by 2, and they're no longer kind of stationary, I guess. There's none of them, like, they're no longer kind of posted up on like street corners, but they're actively moving around and looking at people's faces, basically. So the state of the guard has changed. Does our party witness this? We're gonna roll a wisdom, an 18, yes, easily. So our party becomes aware of this changed state in the guard. They are looking for somebody or someones, and kind of feeling like their hackles rising a little bit. They got like the hair on the back of their skin, back of their neck, rising, and they don't like the idea of those guards looking for stuff. So they're going to retreat back to the inn, and they're going to hang out there for a minute. Until the time that they need to leave, basically. So it gets to evening. They just kind of have simple meals at the inn, nothing crazy. And eventually they have to make their way back to the church. Now, along their way, because they're aware of the guard, they're going to try to sidestep or avoid the guard. And so we're going to do essentially a dexterity, or will they use the crowd to their advantage? I think they would. They're supposed to be partying going on every night, basically. So the group is going to try to do their best to blend in. And I think that's going to be more charisma rather than like a dexterity stealth, basically. I think they're going to try to blend in as happy crowd goers. And we'll see. Difficulty is 12. Ooh, they got a 10, and our average is a +0. So they got a 10. I'm going to go ahead and spend a luck token. We'll see how this goes. A 2. All right. So as they go along, they take the whole party with them. Or do they? I don't know. Would they take the entire party with them? I just assumed that they would. They kind of want Gertruda along. They also don't want to freak anybody out. They don't want to freak out Yeska with like a fully armed party like coming at them. I guess we'll ask the Oracle. We'll ask the Oracle. We'll just do a straight roll. Is the whole party together in this endeavor? 5. No, but. No, but. So the whole party is not together. I think the most obvious is for Irina to stay at the inn. I think that's the most obvious. She's going to need a guard to stay with her. Dendor can be pretty gruff, so I think it will be Dendor that will stick around, leaving Astrid, Marina, and Ismark and Gertruda to go to the church. I think that's our option. I don't really like the idea of Irina having a singular guard at the inn, but it is like a full inn. That's a good question. Is there just a singular guard? Yes, but. Okay. So, they are going to have a singular guard. I think Dendor will speak with Erwin at some point, and he'll say, basically, we do not wish to be disturbed. If you wouldn't mind letting us know if anyone is asking for us. We don't want to be disturbed, but we are expecting some friends. So, if you wouldn't mind, let us know if somebody's asking for us, but don't reveal that you know where we are. And he'll give him like 10 gold or something like that. Erwin will wink at him, kind of knowingly. He says, of course. Of course. If anyone comes inquiring of your situation, then I will let you know as soon as I can without divulging where your location is. You have my word. I think that's probably going to be the best that we can do as far as protecting Irina. Astrid, Ismark, and Marina and Gertruda are going to go ahead and go to the church. And when they do, they encounter the guards, and the guards will stop them. And one of them will hold up a kind of a sketch image, basically. Or actually, we'll do them one better. They hold up this doll that has been sewn together very carefully. And one of the guards will say, excuse us, you appear to be outsiders. Have you seen this woman? And our party, Ismark will immediately recognize it as Irina. And our party is going to try to bluff their way past. And they're going to say, no, I don't believe that we do recognize this individual. At a +0 bonus. Let's see. The guard's like looking directly at Ismark as he's asking these questions, not realizing that Ismark is Irina's sister. So I think the difficulty is going to be maybe a 9. But Ismark would probably be surprised that they're asking about his sister. So we're going to say a difficulty 12. He's going to try to bluff with a +0. A 17 is enough against our difficulty 12. So he says, no, excuse us, we are on our way to the church service. And the guard says, "Of course, if you do see this woman, please report her to the nearest guard as soon as you can. She is wanted for questioning." And Marina will pause and say, "Questioning over what exactly?" And the guard will say, "The captain of the guard is Isaac. Is interested in speaking with the woman. She seems to be important as far as having perhaps some information. If you require more information, I would suggest you speak to Isaac about the situation. The order came directly from him, and details were not forthcoming." Marina will thank the guard, and the party will act, happy as they walk away from the guards. And they'll get to the church. Marina and Ismark will kind of share a look, like, what exactly is happening around here? But they get to the church. Father Lucian invites them in. He says, "I was just about to ring the bell to start summoning the service. Yeska is in the back preparing. I will give you a few moments with him before I ring the bell, perhaps." And Father Lucian will consider it some more, and he'll call for Yeska. And Yeska comes out of the back, and Father Lucian says, "Ah, Yeska, these are my friends. I would appreciate it if you could take care of them. Get them situated before I ring the bell to summon the rest of the service. And please ensure that you treat them with respect." And Yeska will nod once, and Father Lucian will go off to the back to continue prepping for the service. And we'll call it there, I think, friends. I think that's it. The party has met Yeska, some of the party, and we'll leave it there. We'll see you next time. Thanks for being here, and good luck out there.